Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool
Michael,
baby.
volume
Where my
low.
girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight.
Is the volume low on purpose?
It's going down
I can
tonight.
barely
We
hear
going
you.
out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it is going down. It is going down. It's going down in Detroit. It's going down in Chicago. It's going down in North Kakalaki. It's going down in Maryland, and it's going down wherever you are. It is going down. It's going down. We are on the
Michael,
air.
can you
We
hear
are
me?
on the air. We're on the air. We hear you, Chris. We hear you. This is live radio. This is a live radio. And so, y'all, it is Turn It Up Thursday. And it's your girl, Katrina from the Force of Friendship. And I'm signing on today from Chicago, Illinois. I am your host today. And of course, I'm here with my girlfriends, co-host Sabrina Goodwin Monday from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Gloria Mayfield Banks from Ellicott City, Maryland, and your homegirl who is working to get her sound together. Get excited. This is live. Cozette Ellis from Detroit, Michigan. You are tuned in to 910 a.m. The Superstation, WFDF, out of Detroit, and streaming to the entire nation and even the world. You know, the other day, my husband, Anthony, said, your girlfriend, Tina, in Cape Town, South Africa, has been listening to the
Okay,
show.
I'm good. I just changed
So
my
hello to
headphones.
Tina and to our tribe in South Africa.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
Give them a shout out. Everyone listening, no matter where you are. You've got issues. We've got issues. We all got issues. Not just in Detroit, America, but really all over the world, you guys. And were you on yesterday's show? Yesterday's show was amazing, absolutely amazing. Michael on the radio behind the scenes. I think you got to perhaps turn Chris's volume down just a little bit. That would be great. Yesterday's show was unbelievable. Unbelievable. We talked about mother in love or monster-in-law. And it was a rich conversation. My girlfriend, Cozette, was taking notes because she is the next girlfriend to become a mother-in-love. Chris, we know that you have no monster in you, okay? A little bit, but I know that you'll be a great mother-in-law. In today's show, we promise it will not disappoint. Sometimes we go heavy, sometimes we go light, but we will always keep it powerful, positive, but not Pollyanna. And we promise to bring you love, light, laughter, and always some lessons. And do we have lessons for you today? You're listening to 910 a.m. The Superstation, whether you're on our Facebook page, iHeartRadio, wherever you are. Today is a special opportunity for you to call us at 313-778-7600 because we have one of my girlfriends, one of my sorority sisters, the financial physician on the show today. And we'll meet her in just a few minutes, but I am going to pass it to my co-host. Let's hear from the girlfriend. Sabrina, how you doing in North Carolina?
Great. Oh, just fabulous. 6 o'clock rolls around fast, y'all. When I tell you every 24 hours is 6 o'clock, you should see me running around this house trying to put my hair together, trying to put on some clothes. It rolls around fast every 24 hours, but I'm doing great, counting my blessings. Glad for this opportunity to have a voice, share some insight, love on some folks, bring some light, always glad to see my girlfriends. And so, Katrina, thank you for hosting this most important topic, money, baby. Money, money, money. Money makes the world go round. We're either trying to get some more of it, we're trying to keep some up, we're trying to spend it. And for Cozette, that ain't hard to do. You know, she loves to spend some money. Okay, she
You
loves
know
to
what?
spend some money.
You know what?
Anyway,
Okay.
we're gonna throw it on to
Okay.
Cozette. We're gonna throw it on to Cozette. Cozette, how you doing, baby girl?
You know what? I am doing great. I am Cozette, your girl from the D. And let me tell you something. In the D, we don't let people just trash us and we don't have a comeback, okay? You guys, you are learning our personality. When I tell you Sabrina Goodwin Money from Chapel Hill is the messy one.
It's
She
nice,
always got a
kind,
whole
loving,
lot
amazing
to
friend.
say.
Amazing.
She got a lot to say. I promise you. But I promise you, it's a great day. We are talking about money. And you know what? Sometimes, you know, when you have, you know, you like to shop, you like nice things, and, you know, you get your girlfriends to shop. They peg you as the one that spend all your money. But I just want you to know, I got some money in the bank, okay?
Okay.
Let's be clear on that. All right. But anyway, I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to learn some lessons on how to keep more of my money, for sure, for sure. So now I'm going to throw it to my girlfriend, Gloria, who's my home girl from the D. What's up, Gloria?
From the D, from the D, from the D. Okay, this is my word today. My word is share, share, share. Because you know, all of us have girlfriends who could get some money mindset. All of us have some girlfriends who get some money mindset. These women are so pushy. They push us to be our best. They push us to be the best mother-in-laws. They push us to be the best sisters. They push us to be the best daughters, the best wives, the best girlfriends. So I love that type of pushy. And now we're going to push you up to the table. Get your seat at the table. And we all have something to learn when it comes to money. And I will tell you, each of us have a different perspective when it comes to shopping, for real. To spending money, for real. We know that shopping is only a piece of it, but each one of us has a Cozette story when it comes to shopping. Let's just say what it is. It's just a story about Cozette when it comes to shopping. And we'll go to that in another time, in another place. But I just want to tell you guys, all of you have girlfriends who, when you think about the way they handle money, when you think about the way they do money, when you think about the way they talk money, there's something that we can all learn, So we want you to fire up the chat. We want you to fire up the calls. We want you to fire up your truth as I hand it back to Katrina, who's bringing us the mindset of money.
Yes, 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 yes. This is so important. We're going to be talking about mindset with money, about teaching our kids great habits, about lessons we've learned. We've all made some really wise decisions and we've made some not so wise decisions and some mistakes. And so as we're talking about it, we're talking about how to create your seat at the table. That has such a broad meaning, but we need a seat at the table in every area of life and society. And in fact, we know in 2021, you don't just wait to be invited to the table or for someone to invite you. You sometimes have to grab your own chair and take a seat. And as a community, we're continuing to build our own table, not just sit at somebody else's table. So, you know, I started my career in politics and in the nonprofit world, and I know that I was making a difference in the lives of individuals that I served. What I quickly learned was that those, however, that were making the political decisions really had the most economic power. I learned real quickly how important it was to focus on money for our families, for business, and our resources. So building wealth for our families is not just about our financial wisdom, but it is confidence, deserve level, and short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. It's about being a boss and taking charge of your own life. We're going to hear some amazing, amazing tips today about what it's like to be a boss. And I am going to bring to the stage my girlfriend, y'all, Cozette, Dr. Cozette White. If you're not following her already, you want to follow her. She is known as the financial physician. Dr. White is a nationally recognized tax and accounting strategist, international speaker, best-selling author, and philanthropist. She helps entrepreneurs and individuals make wealth a priority by creating tangible results that make a meaningful difference in their lives. She's able to diagnose negative money stories and provide a cure to transform lives limiting beliefs. I call them BS, your belief systems, to the sky's the limit. She is a resident on Money Matters on Fox 40. She's been on CBS This Morning, ABC, NBC, Black Enterprise, Forbes, Upscale, Huffington Post, all kinds of magazines, 6-time best-selling author. And one of my favorite accolades, she was awarded the President's Lifetime Achievement Award by our President, Barack Obama. She's the founder.
Wow. Wow. Wait, Katrina. Wait a minute. Just stop and let us clap. Okay, just let us clap. Woo! Just let us clap a little bit. Come on, the President's Award. Come on now.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, keep going.
Yes,
Keep
yes.
going.
Yeah, Michael, give us that applause.
Thank
So
you.
coming to the
Thank you,
stage,
ladies.
my super bad girlfriend, Dr. Cozette White. Awesome. Welcome. First of all, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm excited what we're going to bring to the table here. We know this is a really broad subject. We want to start out talking about mindset. I want you guys to make sure that you call us at 313-778-7600 to get your questions in. You can talk directly to Dr. Cozette White and ask questions. At the very end, we also are going to talk a little bit about some money that's out there for entrepreneurs, the PPP and so forth. But we want to keep it right here on mindset. Cozette, how do you develop a money mindset, in particularly for those of us that were not raised with generational lessons on money, or we had some not so good habits that we picked up because so many of our ancestors just did not have money to manage? So can you start out talking about that?
Yeah. So when we talk about our money mindset, you all, first of all, I always like to say that it's truly what we think about, we bring about. And so we have to learn to change some of the habits that we have developed. For most of us that are sitting here listening, tuning in, those of us that are around the table, the girlfriends here, we all at some point in our lives picked up bad habits based on what we saw, the environment that we were in, experiences that we had. I know myself going in college, I was exposed to credit cards, and most of us were. That's the very first thing. We were exposed to credit cards, and that is what truly got us in debt. So in order for us to truly change bad habits, we have to make it we have to be intentional about what it is that we want to do. It could be going on a fast for 21 days. And we know that within 21 days, we are not going to totally change a habit, but it is the start to changing something negative as it relates to our money. We have to begin to start having these negative money talks that we have with ourselves. We all have them. We talk to ourselves several times throughout the day. And sometimes it's a negative conversation. So we have to truly watch the things that we verbalize, the things that we say. Our tongue is very powerful. It's a weapon, and we have to truly change that. We also have to learn to position ourselves. You know, here is a circle of girlfriends that have bonded, girlfriends that can teach one another and I'm sure speak to one another if you all see someone doing something that's inappropriate. You know, keeping someone on track, personal accountability. So we have to watch the circle of so-called friends, circle of so-called associates that we have. Sometimes that may mean getting an accountability partner, getting someone that is truly going to say, hey, Katrina, hey, Gloria, Sabrina, Cozette, is that what you intended to do? Did you mean to go shopping and spend all that? I thought you said you were saving for a home. I thought you said you were going to start putting more money away for your retirement. So sometimes it's small increments that we must do to make these changes. But somewhere, somehow, we got to start. And remember, it's the 6 inches between these two ears that we really got to change our mindset, you all.
I love that. And I'm going to pass it to somebody who has had that kind of conversation before. Her last name is Banks, okay? And her husband, both of them know all about money. So Gloria, can you talk to us about a money lesson for yourself? And just first, can we just brag on my friend Ken Banks, and can you tell them the important position that your husband has that affects all our money?
Okay, so let me just talk for this for a second, because Cozette, you are just like, first, I'm going back to the President's Award, okay? Y'all know I'm like, I'm just clapping over here. I'm just clapping. Okay, so then I want to say, I want to talk to all the women out there who might be feeling my shoes, where you're okay with money, but your man is like really smart about money. Like his habits are way different than your habits. And so I've learned to increase my focus, my discipline, my words, the things that you talked about because of my husband. And his mother's living with us now. She tells us all these stories about how when he was a kid, you know how the ice cream truck would come to the neighborhood and he'd run up to the ice cream truck and then he'd go into his pocket and he'd pull out his money and he'd look at his money. He's like, no. All the rest of the kids buying ice cream. Him like, no, not that. So he just was named the chairman of the board of directors for the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond, Baltimore, the Baltimore branch. I know, it's very exciting, very exciting. So he's
Applause
like,
again, applause.
yeah, he's like really into this money and he loves it. He talks to the economies, you know, talk about opposites attract. Opposites attract. He gets on a Zoom. I look at those reports. I run into the other room. Like I can't even see those things. But what I've learned, Cozette, that one of the things that you're saying, number one, is that it can be learned. That it doesn't mean that you're dumb or you're ignorant or any of those conversations that we have in our head, but it is a learned behavior. It's a learned habit. And what I've also learned is that you change your perception and your perspective and your mindset, you change your results. It becomes easier. I remember when money was hard for me. I totally remember. And I'm one of those children that it was not talked at the dinner table. Money was not part of our conversation. And so I had to learn about the abundance of money as opposed to, you know, we're not going to have money. We don't have enough money, blah, 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 blah. So I just want to say, I love that, what you're saying. And I love that the girlfriends here, that we're sharing this conversation because you become like the people you hang around. We got a girlfriend up here who says it all the time. Cozette says, you become like the people you hang around. And so hanging around these people and connecting with you right now, talking about in our face about money is a gift. So I thank you for that gift.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Hey, Katrina.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to ask Cozette a question, and thank you so much for being with us on today. I mean, you came out of the gate. I'm glad I don't have my shoes on because my feet would be hurting right about now. But you know what? There's so much that we can learn from you on today, and I'm sitting here taking a lot of notes. So let me ask you this question, and this is something that you often hear about, you know, everybody being one, and I know since COVID, it's probably not even one paycheck away from being broke. So how much money should we really have in our rainy day fund?
That is such a good question because as we all know, we're going to hear 3 months, we may hear 6 months, we may hear 12 months. Realistically, we need at least, at bare minimum, 6 months worth of savings. And if you truly think about it, 6 months would not have gotten us through this pandemic because we are still in this pandemic. We are still hurting. So 6 months is just the bare minimum. If you're really good at saving, you should have at minimum a good 12 months worth of savings. Now, I know that's a huge stretch for so many folks, but I need for everyone that's listening, you got to start somewhere. And why not start where you can? If that's 3 months, if that's a month, I would be happy to see you have at least a month. Do you all realize that when the pandemic hit, JP Morgan did a study, and that study said that more than half of the businesses could not get through one solid month of paying their operational expenses because they didn't have the cash flow, the cash reserves, shall I say, saved up. So listen to my individuals, those who are, you know, our day to day, we're saving up. We have families. We go to work. We get that paycheck because it's not a paycheck. Let's keep it real. It's a paycheck. Save where you can. But my goal for everyone is to see everyone at minimum 3 months. Then let's go to that 6. And ultimately, if you're at 12 months, you're doing great.
And so,
Dr. Cozette, I know we're going to. Okay, go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. I'll come after break. I'll come back after
Okay.
break. Go ahead,
I
Chris.
was just going to say real quickly as a follow-up, when you say 12 months, 6 months, do we take our current income divided by that, and that'll tell us how much we need to have saved?
So that's another good question. So whatever your monthly household bills are, if it takes $6,000, $3,000, $10,000 to run your household every single month, you need to multiply that by either 3, 6, or 12. So if it takes $10,000 to run your household, that means your business expenses, your personal expenses inclusive, then we need to go $10,000 times 3 months is 30,000. That's a reserve. If we're going for 6 months, we need 60,000. If we're going for a full year, we need to have $120,000 saved. It's the same concept for those of you who may have purchased a home. The first thing they want to know is, do you have a reserve? That reserve needs
Cozette,
to be
I want you to
3 or
hold that thought. We're going to go to a break. This is getting good. It's getting good. We are on We Got Issues. We Got Issues. Be sure to call us, and we can take your call after the break at 313-778-7600. It's the Force of Friendship on We Got Issues. And today we have the financial physician, Dr. Cozette White, with us. So we'll see you after the break.
all right.
All right, y'all. Commercial break. It's a commercial break. It's a commercial break. We're looking at your all of your comments after the chat. So we will bring her back right after that. And all righty. About 1 more minute for the break, y'all. Yes, save 12 months. Excellent. Congratulations, Charlene. You should see how my floor looks. When I finish with the question, I throw it on the floor. Got papers all over. Yes, awesome.
Katrina, can you hear me?
We're still on a break. We're still on a break. We're still on a break. Got about another minute. Another minute. Live on the radio on a commercial break. Okay. 20 more seconds, y'all. Oh yeah, we're back. We're back. We're back. You know, the song talks about red bottoms, and you know, every woman deserves to have at least one pair of red bottoms, but
At least
you
one.
need to have your emergency fund. I don't know if they'll ever fit me again after not having them on for a year, but it's all about your money. So right before I pass it to my girlfriend, Sabrina, and bring in our special guest speaker, Dr. Cozette White, I just want to remind you, you're listening to the Force of Friendship on We Got Issues, 9:10 a.m., the Superstation, and you have an opportunity to call in and ask a question about money, 313-778-7600. I just want to give you these stats, y'all. The median wealth of Black families, and this may be pre-COVID, which could have adjusted it even more, is $17,000, which is 1/10 that of white families of $171,000. Outside of retirement accounts, only 37% of African Americans own a wealth building product like stocks or mutual funds. And I could go on and on and on. We want to hear more from our expert. But Sabrina, you come from a long line of entrepreneurs. Your family is just, runs stuff in Oklahoma. And so I'd love for you to bring in your money story, your money mindset, which I bet you learned way back from your grandparents.
Yeah, that is so right. So right. My grandfather, bless his soul, went back to law school when he was 50 years old, was the first African-American graduate of Tulsa University Law School. And so he taught us early on to have rental property. And he was the youngest entrepreneur on Black Wall Street, way back in 1921, the youngest entrepreneur. So I grew up around entrepreneurs, and my grandmother, bless her heart, she lived to be 102 years old. And she would always teach this. And I never really understood it until I started paying my own bills. And she said, when your outgo exceeds your income, your upkeep becomes your downfall. Check that out. When your outgo exceeds your income, your upkeep becomes your downfall. And bottom line is just when you're living above your means. And I certainly did that when I was young. I got every college loan that they were giving me. I was just signing away. I mean, I was like, I'll pay for it whenever I get around to it. And nobody told me that thing is real and that it never goes away. And so Dr. Cozette, I know what you just taught us. Having the reserve, 6 months, 12 months, and beyond. But let's be real. When they used to tell me that, I was like, yeah, right. I mean, I didn't have it, didn't even know where to start. And so most folks are living paycheck to paycheck, like you said. What is a start for people who are really just paying the bills? I know we're taught to pay yourself first, to put a little bit away. Can you just give us a beginner's guide to saving?
Absolutely. So I think a beginner's guide for those of you that are working, let's start with the job. Those jobs offer you an opportunity. Most jobs offer you to put some 401k away. That is the first start. If you don't know where to start, you have not had a mentor sit down with you, why not start with putting the smallest amount that you can afford? If that is simply $20 out of every single paycheck, $20 goes away. If you're paid 26 times out of the year, do the math, leave it sitting there and do that year over year. If you develop a habit that when you get paid, instead of taking the pay increase, just maybe put some of that towards that 401k. If you're not working and you're just barely getting aside, then we probably will say, if you could, start with $10. And we know that the average person is not going to do that. But that's what I would say. If you could put away $10 away, that's a start. And as your money increases, you start getting pay increases, you started making more money with your business, then you want to increase in incrementals that are safe for you, your family, and it's making a difference. It takes the start. That's where we got to start. Begin. We got to start.
That's so good.
And once we start those small incremental steps.
Yeah, that's so good, because I think many people think, oh, what difference is that going to make? That little bit, that's going to not make a difference. So thank you for that wisdom. Excellent. Excellent.
Absolutely.
58% of Blacks were polled is right now during this season of COVID that we are in. They're worried about being able to pay their rent or mortgage, compared to 44% of whites. 53% concerned about paying for things like childcare, which they need to be able to continually go to their job, versus 34% of whites. And so this has been a particularly challenging season. And Dr. Cozette, can you just add, for those that have experienced this challenge, what can we do differently? We can't wait to get out of this, but since we've learned so many lessons, how important do you think it is for people to have maybe more than one source of income at this time?
This is the perfect opportunity for any and everyone to make a pivot, to make a shift. As we understand, we cannot really just depend on a job, you all. A job, I say, is just over broke, but we have to learn to pick a skill, something that we enjoy doing, whether it's sewing, whether it's maybe we like to write, whatever it is. This is the time to take the opportunity, because we're at home. Some of us have gotten extra income, maybe if it was from the STEMIs that have come out, a lot of different things. But this is the time to pivot, start plan A, start plan B. Look at some of the opportunities that are available to you. There are plenty of what I call plan Bs, plan Cs, where you can start with minimal to no money, you all. But you have to network, you have to collaborate, you have to raise your hand, you have to ask, where are these things at? There's tons of tools and resources that are available to us. Social media is one of them. Now's the time, you all. We cannot sit in the chair, sit back and say, no one told me, I didn't know, I didn't have the opportunity. Right now, these last 12 months have been the perfect time to start that plan B, plan C, plan D opportunity, so that you can bring in some extra income for yourself and your family. It's the time, you all.
That is so good. I just want to, right before I bring you in, Gloria, I want to let you know that a few people called and their phone was disconnected. It dropped. So please call back in if you were attempting to ask a question, 313-778-7600. And Michael said it could be because a male answered the phone and it's a group of women. But just know Michael's behind the scenes and he will patch you through. Gloria, what's your question or your
Cozette, what's my question? What's my comment? Or what's my issue? I got you.
All that.
Cozette, this is what I want you to talk about for a second. Millicent Scott on our Facebook page, on the Force of Friendship Facebook page, raised a question that I was also thinking about asking you as well. Teach the children and the grandchildren. How do women right now, when the kids are not too small to learn on social media, and maybe they were brought up like I was brought up, where it wasn't something that was taught, but what skills or suggestions do you have for them right now, that if you are focused and want to teach your children or your grandchildren to have better habits, what would you do? What would you tell them? How would you tell us to teach that?
I would definitely, for any parent, aunt, any adult that has children in their environment, it is so important that we just have conversations about money, conversations about saving, conversations about interest rates, all the things that we were not taught, how to save. And the one thing that I taught my kids, and I've taught my nieces, I've actually taken them to the bank, taught them how to, make deposits. It was small deposits, but opened up a savings account with them and just teach them still about what does interest look like, compound interest, what is the purpose of leaving our money sitting in the bank, and why is it so important to save. I've even set them down and talked about investing. What is stock? What is, mutual funds? What are CDs? These are things that we didn't know growing up. And to be honest, some still don't know as grown adults what some of the stock, the retirement, mutual funds, how to invest. I have people ask me often, how do I get started with stock? How do I get started with investing? These are conversations that are not had in our school district. They're not going to. If they do, they're not. So we as adults need to just start enriching our youth, enriching our kids, giving them books. There's plenty of books out there by other African Americans that have written about investing, stocks, bonds, purchasing a home, saving a home. What does it even look like to get your first job, if that's the route that you decide to take? Not everyone is made out to be an entrepreneur. So if you don't go the entrepreneur route, then what does it look like to go to work and work for someone else? What does that look like? What does it look like to get a paycheck when they start taking taxes out and you start complaining because they say you made 100, but you only brought home 75, you brought home 65. What does that look like to a child, and how can they conceptualize all of those things? So it starts with us, the adults, not just the parents, but our aunts, our uncles. It's all of our responsibilities to reach back and pull someone forward and teach them, so that they don't grow up and making some of the same failures and same mistakes that some of us still are making the mistakes, but that we've made. We want to teach the kids how to overcome the obstacles that we encountered.
Dr. Cozette, that was so good. So good. I don't have any grandchildren yet, but trust me, by the time I do, I would have learned all of those lessons. But I have a question for you. What do you think about the various apps that are out there to help you save money, like Digit, Acorn, Truebill, Simplify? I know for me, I have been using Digit probably now for about 3 years, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it's amazing how it goes in and takes out a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. And I looked up and didn't even think about it. And I said, I just typed, how much do I have in savings? That's like $10,000. I was like, whoa. And I didn't even miss that they were taking out $4 here, $10 here. And sometimes I'll have to say stop because they'll see a certain amount of money and think you got all this money for your savings. But for me, I have found that to be very helpful. What do you think about those kind of apps?
I love the apps, and believe it or not, the kids are probably more the ones that are, or the youth that are going to come to us and share about these apps. I have a 14-year-old niece that has actually come to me and told me that she started investing and putting money away. And first of all, I was like, where are you getting the money from? But these, they know about the apps. Even some of the 17, 18, 19-year-olds that I've been doing returns for, they've come to me and said, hey, I've invested in Bitcoins last year, some cryptocurrency. And so they know, and I think it's the greatest thing for the kids to do. And if we know about it, then we need to instill it in our youth. We need to continue to, have those conversations, but they know about them. But I agree with you, Cozette. I would definitely, I'm all for them.
Excellent,
Awesome.
excellent. Cozette,
Great question. Go ahead, Sabrina.
No, I was going to ask, because the apps are so readily available. I mean, you can invest on Cash App. I mean, it's so exciting to be able to have the conversations with our young people because it's right in their face. And so now they're taking an interest in it. But when your children, they want to invest with your money, okay? I've got a college kid home for the pandemic, and he's like, Mom, drop 200 in. We need to invest in so-and-so. And then I do it. He's like, well, Mom, we lost that. Give me some more. I'm like, no, boy, no. no. And so I love that it's easy access. I think we're able to have conversations with our young people like never before, especially in the pandemic. I think we need to become savvy and better educated. And like we said earlier, other groups of people, they have wealth passed down from generation to generation. They are left with inheritances. They are left with property, and not necessarily for our community. And so I know that, what would you, I don't know if this is your lane, but your top 3 places to invest right now. Do you have thoughts on that?
I do invest, but this is not my lane. So I would say I would not be the appropriate financial advisor to tell you where to invest your funds right now. But I would say do it safely and do it moderate. If you're talking about your young child coming to you for more money, he or she needs to do it responsibly, and we as parents need to make sure we monitor that. But as far as where are the top 3, I'm probably not the best person to address that one.
I got you.
That's
I got
awesome.
you. Excellent.
I got a great question. From Donna Thomas. She's on our Facebook page, and I am loving this interaction on our Facebook page. And if you guys have not gone to theforceoffriendship.com, that's another place. But Donna, listen to this. She said, what is the best way to pay off your home earlier or save earlier? So Dr. Cozette, a lot of people, that's always the conversation. I have a house, I have a mortgage. Should I pay it off faster, or should I pay it off over the 30 years and save my money other places? So could you help some of the sisters out here, some of our girlfriends on that one?
Yes. The fastest way, first of all, part of her question to pay it off is to, of course, put more directly towards the principal. Number one, you're going to always hear people say, make sure you make at least one extra payment every year, whether it's at the top of the year or the end of the year, make an extra payment. But For me, I make an extra payment every single month that I make my mortgage payment. I always use that line that says more to principal so that I'm paying I'm not going to say I'm paying twice, but I pay a great portion towards my principal to pay it down. And you must let your mortgage company know where you want the extra money to go, because it could go to a gamut of places. But that's just one tip. But is basically, you do want to pay it off sooner because you are saving in interest. Now, on the back end, you're going to hear people say, well, if you pay it off early, then it's not going to assist you on your taxes. You could take that extra investment, extra money that you're saving that's going to the bank, and you can invest it in something else that can assist you with still reducing your tax liability. So don't believe the hype that, oh, if you get rid of the house payment, you're not going to have any tax write-offs. We can put that money into something else that will help us save on the back end on taxes.
Mm-hmm. I know that Sabrina was asking you the question about investments particularly, and I know that you said can't recommend particular stock, but where do you even start with retirement? Like, okay, now I'm going to start my retirement fund. Where do you start?
That's a really good question. So let's start with those that may be self-employed. Where I started and where I've advised anyone, especially working for yourself, I started first of all with getting myself a solo 401k plan. That was where I started, so that I was putting something away. Not only the fact that I was putting it away, but it was also helping me to reduce my taxable liability. Depending on your structure, I was able to take the match, the employer match, in which I'm the employer, and I was able to expense that. I was able to deduct that on my taxes. The next step I'm going to say to you all is make sure, of course, and make sure you max that out if you can. The next step you want to do is get an IRA, get a traditional or a Roth IRA. Make sure you max that out every year. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to start investing in some additional mutual funds, some stocks. There's a gamut of different things that we can invest in, whether we are self-employed or we are employed. You want to start there. You also want to have a good idea as to how much will I need when I retire? Is my life, do I want to maintain the same lifestyle when I retire? At what age am I going to retire? And you want to ensure that whatever amount of money you're bringing in now, if this is the same lifestyle you want to carry on, you have enough savings for that lifestyle. Most of the time, by the time we reach our late 60s, our lifestyle is a little different. Our outgoing expenses are not as high. So our retirement income sometimes is not the same as what we were bringing in when we were working. But you got to start somewhere. Start with your 401 if you're working, and if you're self-employed. Make sure you max that out.
That ties right into what Valerie Rich asked on our Facebook page, because she said if you're a little bit up there in age, and is it too late to start saving? Can it still make a difference?
It's never too late. It's never too late to start saving. Of course, the longer we wait, then we will need to put more towards that savings. If you start saving at the age of 50, then you're going to have to always use that catch up that's available to you to put more money away for retirement. But that's why we tell everyone, as we're talking about having conversations with our youth, with our young ones, we need to ingrain in them the concept of saving. Start when they're young, so that when they're in their 50s, they're not at that stage where they're worried about, I need to put more away for retirement. And at that point, the household expenses are probably at a point where they cannot afford to put away for 401k and do catch up. So start young. It's never too late to start. You got to start. You got to have something. You don't want to be like some of these people that I see. They reach 65. They've pulled money out of their retirement. They've pulled money out of their retirement too many times. And when they are ready to hang it up, they don't have anything. You have to think about longevity. I think the average age for most women now is about 82 to 85 years old. So if you retire at 65, you have 20 more years to go. You don't want to be working at Walmart.
Dr. Cozette, I have another question that's coming from one of our Force of Friendship, from our Force of Friendship page. It's coming from Drea Dooley. She asks, how do we just start out and how do you grow a business and still save when you need to grow the business? So if you're starting a business, how do you still save and you're still trying to invest in that business?
I say that 20% of all of your income from the business should go to saving. It should always go to saving. The other 80% you need to reinvest back into the business until you're at a point where you don't need to continuously invest that 80%. But no matter where you are, you got to take 20% and put that away for yourself. You must.
Okay. And you know what?
So
Just
good.
another follow up to that, she asked, and I know this is probably a question that a lot of people want to know, what is the best way to pay off bills and improve your credit?
Yes. 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 Let me just say this. People talk about debt free, debt free, debt free. So this is great question. Great question.
Okay. So the question is, what is the best way to pay off your debt? And what was the second part of the question?
Improve your credit.
Improve your credit.
Okay. Well, the first way to improve your credit is to, number one, make sure you're paying on time. That's number one, because that is what's going to draw that score down. But the best way to pay off debt, you can, there's a couple of different ways. You can start with your creditors that have the highest interest rate, and you can pay those down. Or if you like instant gratification, you can start with the creditors that you have the bills that have the lowest amount on them, and you can start paying those off. If you are one that want to see immediate satisfaction, then you're going to start with the ones that are, 100, 200, 300 and start paying those off. But you're going to save more in the long run if you start with the creditors that have the highest interest rates. That's where you're going to start saving. So to improve the credit, it's number one, you got to pay on time. You have to always make sure that the balance is 29% or less. So if your credit line is $1,000, it needs to be $290 or less. Otherwise, it's going to have a negative impact on the score. You need to also look at the longevity of the history of the credit cards that you have. The longer you have the cards, the greater it'll improve your credit. If you start applying for credit and say you had a 15-year history, but you got a new card, guess what? It might drop it down to maybe 12 years because you started a new credit card or you got a new credit card. Making sure that you don't just go buck wild and start applying for credit, because that impacts your credit score as well. There are a lot of things, a lot of factors that impact your credit score, inquiries, all of those different things. You need to make sure if someone's going to have a soft hit or a hard hit or a soft hit.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword because they tell you you've got to have enough credit, but then don't have too much credit. Don't go buck wild. But then some creditors say, oh, you need 4 to 5 lines of credit open. So I know we've got a mixed audience here, but what would you say would be a great number of lines of credit to have open, Cozette, for a middle-of-the-road person? Maybe just start establishing credit. How many lines of credit would that person need to have open?
That's a really good question, Sabrina, because it's all about a mixture of credit. It's not just about the lines per se. You want to make sure that you have revolving credit. You want to make sure that you have, what do they call it? You want to have at least four mixtures of credits. Let's put it like that. Okay.
Excellent.
This is a great segue because I paid off debt with this debt snowball, and I'm self-employed and have used that to create income and to create wealth. And so there is money, Dr. Cozette, that is available that can stop folks from having to use their own money. They can use it to start businesses. They can use it with businesses. We've heard about it, PPP. And I want to, before we finish our show today, I just want to talk specifically to the entrepreneurs about what is PPP, who qualifies for it, and when is the deadline? What do we need to know? And then definitely want you to include the fact at the end about the fact that the money that's available for anyone that has passed away due to COVID. So if you could just talk about the PPP first, and make sure we get the
Yes.
other one as well.
Absolutely. So the PPP is the Payroll Protection Program. It is for our business owners. You can qualify in a number of different ways, but the initial criteria are you must have been in business as of February 15th, 2020. You must be able to support the fact that you were in business. If you were a sole proprietor, they're looking for, or an LLC, single member, they are looking for Schedule C from your 2019 or your 2020 income tax return. You need to be able to support that with a bank statement. The bank statement needs to be for 2019. They may ask for 2020. If you are a business owner and you don't have the backup to support, I'm going to be honest, it possibly could get through some of the banks, but the banks are really tough. So just make sure that you have the backup to support it. If you are if you are S Corp or a C Corp, there are different requirements. You need to provide them with payroll reports, your 940s, your 941s. So those are the documents that you will need to support. Some business owners have been asked for other support, but it really depends on the business owner. You need to ensure that you are registered with your Secretary of State and you are in good standing. If you are an LLC, a S Corp, or a C Corp, they will check that to ensure that you're in good standing. And you also need to provide them with your articles of incorporation. There are certain lines in there that they are looking for within that articles of incorporation, but those are the critical documents that they need. And we only have about 6 days remaining. March 31st is the deadline to apply. And make sure if you have the documents, if you think you qualify, then go for it. And the reason why I say this is because the money can be forgivable. If you use it towards payroll, it can be forgiven at 100%. If you use it towards any of your operational expenses, then of course it's only going to be forgiven at about 40%. Remember, the laws are changing daily, so it can change.
Right.
It can change next week. So just continue to ask questions. Personally, I believe they're going to extend the March 31st date, but I can't, say that that's for sure. But just keep your ears and eyes open, you all. The other one that I would like to touch base on, if I have time, Katrina, of course, you all can still apply for the EIDL, which is through the SBA. You do need the same requirement, similar. You will need your tax return. They're going to ask for it. If you haven't filed it, they will make you sign a form 4506 to verify that the information that you are providing them is accurate. You will have to provide a list of any outstanding liabilities that your organization has, and you will need to provide them with proof of your banking account. So if your banking account is in My Financial Home, then if your business is in My Financial Home, your bank account information must match. It cannot mismatch. The only thing I want to share about SBA, we were just talking about credit. Your credit score must be at least 580 or above. If it's 579, then you've disqualified yourself immediately with SBA. Okay. And last but not least, for those of you who are in the entertainment industry, mark your calendar. April 8th, there will be a new loan grant that's coming available. It is SVO. It is for anyone that's in the entertainment industry and some other industries, but just mark your calendar. You can go to sba.gov and get all the details there.
1.9 million, we can't wait till it's billion with a B, but there's 1.9 million Black-owned businesses, and only 1.8 million of them only have one employee. So I just want to emphasize, can someone who is a small business, so small that it's just them, can they still apply and still get this money if their paperwork and things are in order?
Absolutely. And those are the ones that really need to apply. Most of them are getting anywhere from I've seen some as low as 4, and I've seen some as high as 35,000. You can take that payroll or take that money and use it for payroll over 8 weeks or over 24 weeks. So take advantage of it, you all. Take advantage of it. And last but not least, Katrina, there's another grant that's available. Excuse me. If any of you had loved ones that passed last year as a result of COVID-19, the coronavirus, there is a grant that is available for the family, and that grant is up to $7,000. So make sure that you look into that and take advantage of it.
Wow, this is so good. I know we can continue having this conversation. We have time for a couple other questions, but I want them to know how they can follow you on Instagram, on social media. And if you're like, let me try the PPP, where do they start? How do you get your stuff in before March 31st?
Absolutely. So you all can follow me. I'm on all social media platforms as Cozette M. White. You can follow me on YouTube as Dr. Cozette M. White. And for anyone who is interested in applying or just curious about the PPP, you can reach out to me, or you can go directly to this link. It's bit.ly, bit.ly/funding with Dr. Cozette White. And it's funding with It's funding with Dr. Cozette, excuse me. Funding with Dr. Cozette. And you can fill out the paperwork. It'll come directly to our office, and we can assist you.
Yes, yes. And someone, Andra, in the chat said, and the death certificate needs to state COVID-19. And we're very, very, of course, sorry for those of us, my family included, that have experienced this loss. And but we're grateful that this can offer some help, support, especially unexpected support for those that have had this happen. I'm going to give my girlfriends, we have 1 minute. So Gloria, I'm going to pass it to you. We got like 20 seconds each on anything you want to add.
I want to add that we cannot be embarrassed about our current situation. Whatever your situation is right now, it is your situation. So be loud about wanting to change your situation, but don't get trapped in the mind of embarrassment. So I love the mindset. Cozette, I'm turning it to you.
Wow, Dr. Cozette, thank you so much for all the information that you shared on today. And one of the takeaways is it doesn't matter where you are. It's never where you start, it's where you finish. So start today.
Excellent. Ditto, ditto, ditto. Dr. Cozette, oh my goodness, the information was powerful. We need it. We have to talk about it more. We cannot be afraid of the conversation. We have to become better at this conversation. So be encouraged, friends all over the world. Let's get better with our money. Katrina.
Yes, yes, yes. Today's topic was creating your seat at the table. And let's be clear, to get to that table, you want to have cash. You want to have wealth, not just for you, but for your family. We are the Force of Friendship on We Got Issues. We're here Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And you can follow us at theforceoffriendship.com and find all of the different ways you can reach us right there. We thank you, Dr. Cozette White, for helping us to be even smarter with our money. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We got a juicy topic, so we will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock. All righty. Yay!
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Show.
Thank you, Michael.
Wonderful
Awesome show.
Very good. Man, I learned so much. Look, I just writing. That was awesome. Very
Thank
good.
you, ladies. Thank you
Very
so much.
good.
You
So
were
excellent. You were
You know
so
what? I'm
excellent.
so glad you said that, Michael, because I heard a promo a little bit earlier, and I said, "Oh, I wonder if we can get a promo for our show before the show." So that's okay. So I can.
She having a whole other conversation. We are still live with Dr. Cozette White, and we're going to take 2 questions. Do you have just a moment for me to pass 2 questions to you?
Sure.
That we didn't get to. Let's see. I'm scrolling back. Gloria, do you see?
Well, I do have one question while you find those. Dr. Cozette, can you tell us again those apps that you and Cozette were talking about? I've gotten a couple of questions, text messages about the apps that Chris was
There
talking
are so many apps, Acorn, Robinhood. Let me look on I know those are two because I have both of those.
Okay.
Cozette will probably have to give us the other ones that she shared.
Digit was
Definitely Robinhood and Acorn.
Okay.
I like Truebill too because I'm the tech girl who likes to try all the subscriptions. And so you end up having those subscriptions, things you're paying $2.99 for a month, $3.99 for a month, and it tells you what automatic things are coming out so that and it will cancel them for you. You can click the button, it'll cancel it, and it'll also negotiate with like your like internet company, your phone company. It helps you with savings there. So that's really, really good. Question from Tammy Green. She says, in terms of helping our children build credit, is it wise to add your children on your credit card? Some companies allow you to add them at 13 to 15.
I think it's a good idea if you're adding them pre-18 because it will establish a credit history for them. That's how some of our others get a head start with their kids. They put their kids on as a authorized user, and you don't have to give the kid the card, just keep the card and it's building their credit. So when they turn 18 and they go get that first credit and they see 700 or above, they're wondering why. And it's because they've had 6 years worth of, untimed credit from their parents.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So
This
good.
is good. How do you keep the creditors from closing your account after you pay it off? A lot of times they, you build this credit with them and then they'll close it after you paid it off.
Well, technically, they have a certain amount of months before they close it. So I'd say even if you spent like $20, and I used to do this with Macy's because I never really used the card, but I'd always go in there and try to spend $20 on some lip gloss or something just to keep the card open, pay it off, and know that, after 9 months or something, I had to go in there and make a purchase. So it's difficult. And it really also depends on the history that you had with the creditor as to why they close it so soon. Were you always late? Truly speaking.
Yeah, that's so good. This is such an ongoing a great topic.
Does Chris have those apps yet? Does she have those apps?
Oh, yeah,
Chris, you're on mute.
I'm on mute.
Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Apps again? They asked about the apps that you talked about.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the one that I personally use is called Digit, D-I-G-I-T, Digit. And then there's Acorn. And then there's Truebill and Simplify. I have a question though to you, Dr. Cozette, and this happened to me the other day. I was like, why did they do that? I had a credit card that I hadn't used as at a zero balance, and they decreased my limit. And I was like, and I don't know, I think it may have affected my credit score, but I was kind of confused that why would they decrease maybe because I'm not using it. They said, well, she don't need that much credit. But that was the first time I've ever had a credit card that had a zero balance decrease my limit. Have you heard of that before?
It could be a possibility where they ran a soft check on you and maybe your debt to ratio was high. So maybe they looked at something and said she's a risk or something of that nature.
No, I have.
How long has it been?
I have a lot of available credit, but literally I have it's a minuscule amount of debt that I have. So I was just a little surprised with that.
How long has it been since you've used it?
It's been a while, maybe over a year or so.
That's probably a factor in it.
Okay.
And I don't know if you were just listening. I was saying that's one of the things that I continue to do when I have a zero balance. I try every 9 months, and it's a game. It really is. Right. But I try to go in and spend a little, not a lot, just enough to say, let me prevent this from being closed.
Yeah, and that's amazing how it counts against you. I'm like, I don't need to use it. And again, if you have several,
I have to go.
They have to go.
Thank
you. We're wrapping it up.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Cozette. It was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No A, Gloria.
No dyslexic. She just
okay.
No. And you know what, Cozette, I'm very sensitive to that because I absolutely hate when people call me Trisetta.
Yeah. Well, they call me Cozette, Cozetta.
I was like, Do not call her Cozette.
Yeah.
So that before we get off, they want you to give your information one more time. And if you can pop over, if you'll just text it to me, I'm going to then paste it on the Facebook group too. But can you give how people reach you one more time? A few people have asked that.
Sure. You all can follow me on all social media platforms as Cozette M. White. I'm on YouTube as Dr. Cozette M. White. And for any of you who want to personally send me a quick email, you can do that at info@myfinancialhome.com. info@myfinancialhome.com. And I'm always, I do taxes, I do accounting, so I'm always at my desk. So if you send me an email, I will address the email within 48 hours, I promise. 48 business hours.
And the tax deadline is extended until
the PPP.
No, the tax. The tax deadline is extended, right?
Taxes are individual taxes are extended until May 17th. That does not include any business taxes. So
And
if
what
you have
about and state taxes too, Cozette, no deadline.
Yes, no state.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
No
The state tax is not extended?
No.
You
I didn't know. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
So yeah. So California or Chicago is still due April 15th. Yes.
Well, that means you got to do your taxes, because how you gonna do that?
Exactly. And also,
I gotta go.
Nonprofit organizations are due May 15th. So that doesn't mean that you guys have until May 17th. They are due May 15th. Keep that in mind. Anyone that's listening is nonprofit.
Confusing. That is why you need a professional. Okay. That's why you need a professional. And I know that we're going to go. They wanted to know the name of, if they go to your website, can they see the name of one of your books, how to get your books? I know you got to go, Sabrina.
The books are available on Amazon.com. Someone told me that a few of them were out of backlog, but that's okay. I don't know why. But anyway, just head over to Amazon.com. You can also, I just gave everyone my personal email address. Just send me a quick line. I do have some here in the office, and I can drop those in the mail as well.
Excellent. All right, y'all. All right.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye, y'all.
Okay. See